Okay, before I start, I would like to share with you the story of Reinhold Messner, a remark maker. Reinhold Messner, in 1978, he decided to climb the highest mountain in the world, the peak, the highest peak, with one of his friends together. And they managed to do it on 8th of May, 1978. And they did it, that's interesting, without supplemental oxygen, as you know, yeah? And 2 years later, in 1980, Reinhold Messner decided to do it again, but that time on his own. And alone, he reached the highest peak, the Mount Everest, without supplemental oxygen. And in 2004, Reinhold Messner said, okay, now it's time for me to do something new in my life. I don't want to go to the highest peaks in the world. I just want to cross a desert. He took the map of the world and said, okay, which one? And he found one very interesting. It's the Gobi Desert. Why interesting? First of all, it's made of 95% of stones. Only 5% of sand. This desert is very long. It's 1,600 kilometers long and 800 kilometers wide. And this desert has temperatures between minus 40 and plus 40 degrees. And he said, that's a desert for me. And Reinhold Messner said that for him, it was a huge difference between climbing the highest peak in the world and crossing the desert. And he said, it's much more difficult to cross the desert because when you are the highest peak in the world, you know you need approximately 2 days to go back to the base camp. But when you are lost in the middle of the Gobi Desert, you have no idea how many days you need to find someone, how many days you need to find water, to find food, anything else. So he said I was much more lost in the desert. Very interesting. The timepiece I would like to introduce to you now, and the first timepiece you would like to see, is the 1858 Geosphere Gobi Desert that tells you the story of a remark maker, Reinhold Messner. This is a timepiece, and all the colors you can observe, it means the color on the bezel, on the dial, on the hands. All these colors are inspired by the colors observed by our mark maker while crossing the desert in 2004. That's very interesting. It means that Mitraji, to just sit now in the desert, the Gobi Desert, you observe the colors, you observe your watch, you have the same colors. That's very unique. I don't know how many timepieces do exist today in that world with the colors remaining of such a place. I think it's the only one. So first of all, these colors are the one you can find in the Gobi Desert. So that's, we had the interview with Reinhold Messner. We had pictures from the Gobi Desert, and then we are working on it, trying to find the best color, matching these photographs. And for example, the bezel, this is ceramic, but it's quite unique ceramic color. So we've developed it because it was the closest one to the colors observed in the desert. Even for the dial, the same. So you have a photograph and we try to be as close as possible to this photograph. It was the idea behind. If I turn the page, I said the page because for me it's a book, it's not a timepiece because it tells you a story. Then you see on the second page, Bayanzag is the name we give to the Flaming Cliffs. The Flaming Cliffs is a region that has been crossed by Reinhold Messner in 2004. And now observe the colors. But now you have to imagine that all the colors you see are laser generated. First time in the watchmaking industry on such, of course, on such a large surface, a watch maison is capable of creating a landscape 100% the same as the photograph we had from the Flaming Cliffs. And the depths, the contour, and all the colors have been generated thanks to the use of a laser. And this is the level of oxidation that will determine on this case pack, which is in titanium. I will tell you why. And it will determine the final color we will obtain. The case back is in titanium because Titanium is the only material that can be used with a laser to reach such a result. Okay, only working with titanium, not working with the bond. This is the 1858 Geosphere Gobi Desert in a 42 millimeter bronze case. It's a limited edition to 1,858